All right, welcome back. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. Today, we are going to dive into the effects of the French Indian War. So, here's the thing: we aren't going to dive into the actual battles of the French and Indian War, mainly because we're a little stretched on time, and I would much rather dive deeper into the American Revolutionary War, War of 1812, and the Civil War because again, here the French and Indian War, we are discussing essentially, you know, the French fighting the British with again natives on each side, with more natives being on the French side. The United States of America, it isn't even a thing yet, but it's going to lead to that. What is most important for us in American history with the French and Indian War is how the French and Indian War influences the consequences of the French and Indian War, how that influences the American Revolution. So that's what we're going to look at today. All right, let's go ahead. You want to do a review? You want to do a review? Let's do a review. All right, let's look at. All right, so what is the French and Indian War? Again, it's the French and the natives versus the British. Uh, both sides do have native allies, but the French has more. Let's go to our next slide. First cause, we already said that France and England are bitter enemies. A lot of that has to do with because they are in very close proximity to each other. They're already at war in Europe, and now they are also at war in North America. All right, cause number two, both were imperialistic. Imperialistic meaning they are trying to stretch their boundaries or stretch their territory, gain new territory, extend their country's power. Uh, so they're both imperialistic. So they both have common goals. Number three, they both have land in America. Again, we talked about the English colonies, boom, boom, or really just boom, and then they own land in Canada. France also owns land in Canada, but also owns land in the modern day United States. Just I don't know, just something to help you. If you ever want to know why people speak the language that they do, it's because of the people that settled there first. For example, Mexico was settled by the Spanish, which is why people in Mexico speak Spanish. Um, and not just there, but also Texas and Florida, California. You have, Arizona, New Mexico. You have a lot of Spanish-speaking people there. Uh, France, okay, or Canada and like Louisiana being a big one. Why are there like French speaking people there? Why is there French like names of places there? Well, it's because the French settled there. Boom. English colonies. Why do people in America speak English? Why is that the not the official language because there isn't an official language, but why is that the most popular language? In America? Well, it's because the English were settled here, and that from the English colonies is what expanded into the United States of America. Very good, very good, very good. Four, cause number four, they both wanted the Ohio Valley Territory. The Ohio Valley Territory, we're talking about this right in here. This gives them control of the Ohio River, which also gives control of the Mississippi River. And the Mississippi River is the longest river in the United States. Um, it is. It helps with trade. That's the big thing because number five is that both wanted to control the fur trade with the natives. Why do you want to control trade? Why is trade valuable? Because money, money, money. That's valuable. Money is valuable because money helps. Every country is invested in the economy. Now we're looking at it as more like a modern sense here. But back then, again, economy was if people are making money, it means people are putting more money back out there. That means expansion, and that's big. That's what these countries want. All right, so let's take a look at this last map right here. So uh, this is what the this is what North America looks like, and who has control of what. We have again the English on the coast. We have the Spanish in the Southwest and in Mexico, in Florida. We also have the French in throughout Canada and the middle of America, really. All right, so let's just go ahead and jump into the effects. Okay, so I want you to see again who owns what. All right, so effect number one. So, spoiler: the British defeat the French. So, with the defeat of the French, the Treaty of Paris is signed. So, Treaty of Paris. Why is it called the Treaty of Paris? We also need to know that it's the Treaty of Paris 1763 because we're going to see some more treaties or treaty. What's the plural of treaty? Probably treaties. There's going to be more treaties of Paris. They are named after the city in which they are signed. So the Treaty of Paris, France has to give up all of its land in North America to England and to Spain. Why Spain? We hadn't talked about Spain. Well, Spain actually joins the war as an ally of England. Again, the French have more native allies, so the English have to look elsewhere. They are able to convince the Spanish to help them, and in exchange, the English will give land that is conquered, part of that land to the Spanish. Very good. All right, next. What's our next effect? Our next effect. We have a map. I forgot about this. So this is I had an email. This is French Indian War. Okay, so again, that's the map that we're looking at. The reason that the French and the British are coming into contact with each other is because, again, the way that this is laid out, there's really two ports of entry into the modern day United States for the French, and that is either through Canada or through New Orleans. And so they're either going north or south. The British American colonists, they are pushing west. So boom, boom, boom. There's going to be issue here. They're going to run into each other. Now, with the post-war boundaries, so this is after the French Indian War, we see that, man, England has gained some territory, but they've also given some of it away. Again, they give this to Spain, so essentially Spain gains like all of Texas and much more of the West, while the English control much more of the East. Everything east of Mississippi, everything east of the Mississippi River is English territory now. Very good. Next, effect number two. So a second effect that will spawn from the French and Indian War is Pontiac's War. So what we have here is we actually have more native conflict because, again, the British and the natives have had a long history of conflict dating all the way back to really Roanoke. Because that's one of the main theories behind Roanoke, the lost colony, is that the natives attacked. There was conflict between them. So the natives were much more friendly with the French because the French traded with the natives much more peacefully than the British did. So, which is why there were more native allies of the French. When France is given the boot and has to move out of America or North America, the British kind of move into those places, and conflict arises. So that leads to Pontiac's War, which is really a series of native conflicts with the British with various native tribes that are just kind of coming together to fight against the British because they all have a common enemy. All right. Let's go to effect number three. So effect number three kind of spawns from Pontiac's War, which again spawns from the French and Indian War. So here we go. Effect three, we have the Proclamation of 1763. If we were to go back to right here, we see there's a proclamation line. Odd. What is that? Well, it actually follows a natural border, and that natural border is the Appalachian Mountains. This is a natural border or a geographical border because it's happening again. All right. So it is a geographical border because you don't want to you don't want to go through the mountains. I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, we can do it today because we got roads, cars, but it is what it is. But you didn't want to take like horse and like wagons and a bunch of people. You didn't want to have to take all that through the mountains. That's treacherous. It's not easy. Now, I'm not saying it couldn't be done. It's just, it's hard. Like, people don't like to move. They don't. We're going to see in a little bit, but people do not like to move. So the Appalachian Mountains are kind of that border for European settlers. So that's what the Proclamation of 1763 is stating. White settlers, again, we're talking about Europeans right here. European settlers could not venture past the Appalachian Mountains. So they must stay on the coast here. The Appalachian Mountains are a boundary. And on the other side of this boundary, the area beyond the Appalachian Mountains is reserved for Native Americans. So this is essentially in response to Pontiac's War and uh, some of the quarrels that the British had with the natives. If they can just kind of stay out of each other's way, maybe this will be better for everybody. The British don't want conflict. They just fought a war. They don't want to have to fight another one. So this is done to essentially kind of keep peace, but also just to prevent any future conflict and warfare. Okay, let's check out effect 4. Effect 4. Effect number 4. This is why the American Revolutionary War is fought. And this spawns directly from the French Indian War. British taxes. Bum, bum, bum. British taxes. So, because there is a large debt from war. War can make money, but war also costs a lot of money. So it's kind of goes both ways. So the British spend a lot of money on this war in North America, and so because of that, they say, "Well, look, it's only fair that we need to recoup this money, and we're not going to tax our own people here in Britain. We're going to tax the people that live in North America, because that's where we're fighting this war. We were essentially fighting this war to protect them from the French." So the British planned to tax the colonies to pay the debt off from this war. Now, this is going to be troublesome because the colonists don't believe that they should have to pay taxes for this cause. They don't believe that. Not just because they are having to pay taxes, but because they have taxation without representation. That is the problem. That is why the colonists don't want to pay this, because there's all these decisions being made in government, yet no one is representing them, even though they are a large part of the British Empire. Laws are coming from Britain all the way across the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, to the American colonies, but they have no say over their laws. So this creates conflict and controversy. Okay. Now, what I've assigned for you today is essentially a secondary source, and I've sectioned it off. You got 5 questions to answer. Some of it's kind of dealing with personal experience. Some of it's dealing just strictly through the reading. Some of it is going to kind of foreshadow some of the things that are going to happen during the American Revolutionary War, but that's okay, because the more we know, the more we can dive in and go in depth as we move forward. Okay? All right. So, with that being said, I'm going to leave you today. Look forward to meeting some of you for the first time tomorrow for our first B day. The rest of you, I will see some of you when we return from fall break in 2 weeks. And for my online people, hey, just keep churning it out. Keep churning it out. If you need anything, just let me know. Okay. There is a video. There's a video that I've attached right here. I suggest you watch it. It's not necessarily the content of the video. I just want to show you kind of like how I'm gonna play it. Whoops, I think I broke something. So I'm gonna play this. I don't know how this is gonna work with 2 things playing at the same time. Looks like I'm freezing a little bit. Yeah, I'm lagging. Okay, maybe I'm not. All right, so what I want you to see is how the United States, how the population changes over time. As you see, there's the population is condensed to one part of the country. Now, this can't be the case forever, right? Well, this may surprise you. This may surprise you. Maybe not. I mean, maybe you know all this already, and I'm just facetious. But I want you to see kind of why the population or how the population is that it is and why it is that way. Okay, so we have all of this that is being settled. We have places popping up in California because they find something here in 1849 that will change America forever. Anybody know what it is? Gold. Yes, it is gold. That's why they're called the San Francisco 49ers, because it was in the year 1849 that people started moving out there. And so all the locals would call the people migrating across the country to come to San Francisco just to look for gold. They would call them 49ers. Very good. Man, the more you know. So as time goes on, you see that, again, there's some pockets of heavy population out here. Some of the most populated cities in America are out here, particularly San Francisco, San Diego, San Diego. We're going to see Phoenix pop up right around here. Yeah, starting to see it grow a little bit. Los Angeles. Um, but you got like Seattle and Portland. Yeah, you got some pockets out here, but you look over here and there is a much heavier population, much heavier. Now, why is that? Well, it's because this was the first part to be settled. And again, these being the 13 British colonies, after America wins its independence, it is going to move west, but again, this is the settled portion. People don't like to move. I'll tell you that. People do not like to move. Even today, people don't like to move. Moving is the worst part. All right. So I just wanted you to kind of see that and give you an idea of why things are the way they are today. Hey, hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope make sure you get your assignment turned in, and I will talk to you guys again tomorrow.